Hey, what's up, guys? So we're back with more Sabaton. If you're new to the channel, welcome. So this is Devil Dogs U.S. Marines Sabaton history. Now, this is a channel some of you guys have mentioned to me on several of the Sabaton videos that I've watched, music videos, should I say? And I decided to take a look. But hey, might as well start off with the Marine one, right? So I will be taking a look into Devil Dogs U.S. Marines and see what they have to say. So without anything else, let's jump right into it.
I'm Indy Nidell.
And I'm Pat from Sabaton.
And this is Sabaton History. The U.S. Marines, who got the nickname Devil Dogs, made a serious
look at that
impact
hair and
towards
beard.
the end of the First World War.
And we thought that Devil Dogs would be a perfect title for a Sabaton song, and the story was really good.
The U.S. Marines have been training for fighting the Great War in France since the U.S. declaration of war on Germany, April 6, 1917. They were a rather small force, not even 14,000 men strong. But the U.S. Marine Corps could look back on a long and proud history of service. The soldiers of land and sea had served U.S. interests overseas in places like the Philippines, Haiti, and even the coasts of China. But now,
Boxer Rebellion.
they were sent out to fight in a global war of which the U.S. had only been a passive spectator, and their enemies were not poorly trained insurgents, but battle-hardened soldiers who'd seen years of active combat. To prepare themselves for modern war, the Marine Corps had included mostly French battle doctrines in their training, especially the new French emphasis on move and fire tactics, but with the Marine Corps preference of the smaller platoon formation. Equipped with rifles, light support artillery and machine guns, and rifle grenades, the Marines soon at least looked like a modern fighting force. And yes, before you comment, the American version of the show-shot light machine gun was terrible, but packing serious firepower while being as mobile as possible was of prime importance to the Marine Corps.
I don't think I've ever seen that machine gun before, actually. Interesting.
Style of fighting. Anyhow, they did not simply just copy French doctrines, though, but put heavy emphasis on traditional soldiery as well. True to their credo, every Marine a rifleman, the Corps constantly honed its skills on the shooting range with the standard Springfield rifle and trained for close combat with the bayonet. Two skills that, while not left behind in the Great War, took a backseat to others in terms of general 1918 combat, where the machine gun and the hand grenade were thought of as the tools of the infantryman. In early 1918, the huge German spring offensives, the Kaiserschlacht, had smashed into and through the Allied lines in Belgium and France. And as their Operation Blücher kicked off in late May, the Germans were soon less than 50 miles from Paris.
So far, I'm liking this video.
Panic spread, even though the offensive was pretty clearly running out of steam, and the Allies urged the Americans to send in reinforcements. The Marines, as part of the 2nd American Division, were among those first reinforcements that were judged ready to be sent into action. Operation Blücher had created a large salient across the Aisne River and into the French front lines from Rheims to Soissons, and the German army was trying to get a hold on strategically valuable positions from which to launch further attacks. Such a position was Belleau Wood. The first elements of the 5th Marine Regiment were rushed into the lines on June 2nd. They were greeted by exhausted French soldiers who suggested the Marines follow their retreat, to which Captain Lloyd Williams only retorted,
Hell, just got here. Yeah.
Hell, we just got here. The French were by no means broken, but they had taken a hard hit, and the Americans had to take the defensive lead and dug in. The next day, as the Germans advanced from Belleau Wood over an open wheat field, they were unexpectedly met by highly accurate rifle fire and cut down in large numbers before hastily retreating back to the wood, probably wondering what the heck had just hit them. The German position.
Hey man, why the hell are they so damn accurate all of a sudden?
Within Belleau Wood overlooked a wide area, and the small town of Belleau itself and its surroundings. And if an Allied counterattack was going to successfully eliminate the German salient and drive them back over the Aisne, their positions in Belleau Wood had to be taken. The next day, June 3rd, the Marines formed up in light order and marched over the same wheat field towards the woods to take it by storm. But as they marched into the open, they were suddenly hit by rifle and machine gun fire. Taking heavy casualties, the advance was quickly halted and the survivors pulled back. Clearly, the Americans were still green, and they had to learn, and learn fast.
That's when Sergeant Major Dan Daly came in. Well, he was the first sergeant at this time, if I remember correctly.
The Germans opposing them were veterans of the 4th Reserve Corps. Their commander was Major Josef Bischoff, a career soldier who had fought in the German Africa mission and was himself an experienced bushfighter. Although his men were suffering from exhaustion and chronic shortages of ammunition, shells, and food, he was determined to put his experience to good use in the thick of the woods, carefully prepared his defenses. Thick undergrowth of bushes and large boulders were ideal hiding spots, and the steep ravines and hills slowed down every advance. So while it was really difficult to maintain an attacking formation, it also was to maintain a static line of defense. Belleau Wood was a place of small unit fighting. To break into Belleau Wood, the Marines had to take the high ground and the villages outside the woods first. While French artillery blasted Belleau Wood into an even more unmaneuverable maze, the men of the 5th Marines went into battle once again. On the 6th of June, they advanced towards the German positions on Hill 142, a major strongpoint that overlooked large parts of the woods. Again, they were met by entrenched machine guns and took heavy casualties in brutal fighting, especially after the German counterattack smashed into their advance. But the Marines prevailed. The hill was strewn with mutilated bodies from both sides, but it demonstrated that the Marines were not shaken by the effects of battle, which was good, because this was only a taste of what was yet to come.
Do you want to live forever?
On the 11th, another major attack began. While other Marine companies attacked from the north and south, the main force was again ordered to advance over the open wheat field. This time, though, they had the help of a heavy ground fog that shrouded the advancing Marines from the eyes of the German outposts until they were already on top of them.
No.
Bayonets first, the Marines stormed into the German trench lines, attacking at close range. In those woods, the men were cut off. The heavy fog made flare guns ineffective, and telephone lines were already cut by the shelling. Only cold steel and personal bravery would prevail. The Americans were victorious in rolling up the forward defenses, but the Germans were not done yet. Vanishing in the bushes, they retreated to new defenses. The initial rush had cost the Marines dearly, and during the night, they were suddenly hit by 7,000 mustard gas shells, saturating their surroundings with deadly toxins. Still, they were determined to push on, NCOs leading the small platoons. Machine gun nests were stormed by all-or-nothing bayonet charges. Grenades exploded among trees and rocks, sending deadly splinters flying through the chaos of battle, and snipers targeted them from the treetops. But still, the Marines kept up their momentum. In fact,
If I remember correctly, this was where, I forgot which day or the sequence of events, but there was also another Medal of Honor recipient I would also like to mention and recognize as well. It is Gunnery Sergeant Fred Stockholm or Stockman. He gave his gas mask to another Marine, so he sacrificed himself so another Marine can live, and and he earned the Medal of Honor posthumously.
aggressiveness was their best asset in those thick woods. More than once, they pushed through the German lines, then rolled up their defenses from the rear. In the spirit of Dan Daly, who just days before had spurred on his fellow Marines with the words, "Come on, you sons of bitches, do you want to live forever?" the Marines surged forwards. Few prisoners were taken in these days of the war, if any. It was merciless you or me, close-range fighting, with no room for quarter. After days of combat, the Germans had lost significant chunks of ground and finally broke on the evening of the 24th. They fled to their last fortified positions near the edge of the woods. The Marines, though, had to stop as well. despite their success, the casualties had been high, and thousands of Marines were either dead or wounded, among them Captain Williams, who had succumbed to gas and shrapnel wounds. It was now up to the heavy artillery to soften up the enemy first before the final attack could drive them from the wood. After a night of heavy shelling, the Marines moved out. Again, they met heavy machine gun and sniper fire. But after a few hours of heavy fighting, the battle was pretty much over. Ever more exhausted and demoralized Germans surrendered without a fight, and whole companies were captured by single men. By midday, June 26, after 25 days of fighting, the last Germans in the wood were killed or captured.
Nice.
The report to American headquarters read, Wood's now U.S. Marine Corps entirely. The fighting for Belleau Wood became an instant PR hit in the American media. Ecstatic newspaper headlines ran on how the Marines saved Paris and of how the vicious devil dogs, as they were called, were feared by the Germans.
Too fond.
Belleau Wood was in many ways the birthplace of the modern U.S. Marine Corps, and the name Devil Dog stuck after the heavy fighting of those June days in 1918. It is not entirely clear if, and in fact is even unlikely, that the name Devil Dogs, in German Teufelshunde, has its roots in the actual engagement in Belleau Wood. The term Teufelhunde had already appeared in the La Crosse Tribune in Wisconsin on April 27th. And other newspapers attributed the Devil Dog name to German pilots who apparently cursed the accuracy of American anti-aircraft batteries with that name. But whatever the case, the Marines had taken the fight to the enemy and were ready and willing to accept heavy casualties to achieve victory. So the fighting at Belleau Wood might as well have earned them the nickname Devil Dogs. The ferociousness of the attack was a real contributor that summer to the breakdown of the morale of the Germans, who had erroneously thought of the Americans as incompetent farmers and cowboys that did not know how to fight. They were very much mistaken.
Yeah, they really thought that, hey, man, we could win this easily and all that. They're inexperienced, they're rookies and all that. But in the end, it cost them. But yeah, like I said, great credit to many great names. And of course, First Sergeant Dan Daly, he contributed a lot and, mustered up the courage because since he already had a Medal of Honor at the time, he really was just, someone that young Marines looked up to and said, hey, I will literally follow that man to hell. Oh, the song.
Okay, now Devil Dogs is from the new album, Great War. Yep.
Yes. And one of the things that catched my attention while writing this song was the phrases that were supposedly said during this one. All right, you sons of bitches.
You want to live forever? Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
And we even put it into the song. So when Joachim was recording, he was like, and where do I sing this? Like, there are no melody for this.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, no, that's just a feeling that you do when in this part. And he's like, then I know.
Wait, can we hear that little bit?
I still remember that.
There we go. Shockingly as it is, I mean, when I'm writing something, I try to zoom in on the maps and see what it is.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, this forest is so small.
Yeah.
How could such a significant, brutal fighting happen around this little area here?
Yeah, sure.
And then I looked at maps from World War I, and I realized that it was the same farms, the same fields.
A lot of places you think we're big, we're not that big. I mean, the whole of Verdun, this monster about. You can walk it. You can walk it in an afternoon. I mean, it's the size of central Stockholm. That's not that big, for 800,000 people to lose their lives.
And Belleau Wood the same. I mean, you walk across it in a few minutes, not
like,
even half a day.
Like, wait. Where's the rest of it?
You can watch it. You can oversee the whole thing. We also even went before we.
Dude, I didn't realize it was that small. I mean, I haven't been there in person. I really would like to go there in person one day, but usually when it comes to, huge casualties and all that, usually naturally people would think it's a huge battlefield, like a huge field and things like that. But sometimes it could just be, just a small field.
We met in Verdun, you remember that?
Yeah, sure, we had fun.
Stopped at Belleau Wood Memorial.
Damn, dude, look at the mohawk and the mustache and the beard right there, bro.
All right, okay.
We were driving, and this was actually not a stop planned. The publicist in France didn't even know that we wrote the song because everything was secret at this time. And then I was watching where we were, and I'm like, Belleau? Okay. So I was telling the driver, we need to take a little bit of a detour. It's only gonna take us 20 minutes, and it's gonna be important for the rest of our lives. It means a lot when we actually get to a place where we sing about. So yeah.
And now, whose idea was the idea of having a song about devil dogs for the album? Was that yours or Joachim's? Or?
The song was written by me, and we thought about naming it in the original German title, like Teufelhunde. But Devil Dogs just sounds better.
Do you know it? But there is a snack cake called Devil Dogs in the States. It's chocolate and it's got cream on the inside. I don't know if it came after or before the Marines and stuff, but they're good though. They are good.
I have to try that.
Well, you'll be touring the States later this year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you bring us back a box of Devil Dogs.
I will
so
bring
we can
it back.
do like a review with the whole band. We can get Tommy and Chris and Hannes here,
and we all eat the Devil Dogs.
Well, since this is a song from the
I
new
didn't
album,
know
can we
there
hear
was a
another few
chocolate.
seconds of that music? July 19th, you'll be able to hear this song and the other songs on the Great War, and that is it for Sabaton History for today. See you next time.
So if you are a patron, you can get the Sabaton albums in a very nice edition, featuring Indie Nidell, autographed by us, and see you next time.
Yeah, I really do like this. I mean, the way that he, tells us the history and the events and all that, it was great. The use of like the footage and all that, it was great. The illustration, everything is great. I really like it. And as for more music videos, I'm pretty sure you guys are wondering. I don't want to say I forgot about them. It was just at that time I was exploring other channels, like wartime stories and getting back into Mr. Ballin a little bit more, and also, just checking out. I mean, like I said, I'm trying to like manage all this, so that's why there was a small gap in between the last music video from Sabaton and this. But I am starting to get back, so I'm trying to like, time manage here and there, like these channels, these channels, these channels. So hope you guys do understand that. But either way, if there's any other Sabaton history videos you guys would like me to check out, please put down in the comments below. And besides that, that's all I got. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that notification bell so you know when I drop more videos. Also, shout out to all my members, subscribers, viewers. You're amazing. Thank you so much for your support. Really do appreciate it. Oscar One Hotel, signing off.